Namaste. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our Weekend with Wisdom series. And in this series, we are going to be delving into the topic on self-contemplation, Niddhidhyasanam, through Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam, given to us by Adi Shankaracharya ji. We have with us Swamini Svatmavidyananda Saraswati ji. Namaste, Swamini ji. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we go ahead with the session, I would like to chant a short prayer. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunattu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadi tamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Hari. Shri Guru. I would like to take this opportunity to give a brief introduction about Swamini ji. Swamini Svatmavidyananda Saraswati ji has taught at several universities nationally, including UC Berkeley. She is widely recognized as a scholar of Advaita Vedanta and as a disciple of Pujya Sri Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, an internationally known Acharya of the Advaita Vedanta tradition, interfaith leader and scholastic author of Vedanta, responsible for the inception of the All India Movement for Seva, a non-profit enabling rural Indian organization for children to receive a proper education. She is widely in demand for lectures and seminars in the USA and internationally for her expertise in interreligious engagement and in-depth training and scholarship on Advaita Vedanta. Swamini ji is the Acharya of Arsha Vijnana Gurukulam, which was founded in 2004 and has centers in many places in US such as Atlanta, Washington, DC, Detroit, Milwaukee, and so on. We are very privileged and grateful to have you with us, Swamini ji. Thank you so much once again. And we are really looking forward to go deeper into this topic, Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam. With that brief introduction, I invite you to begin the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this weekend with wisdom. And the idea behind this wonderful program of Indica Moksha is to take one weekend and be immersed in the knowledge of the self, because through this immersion alone one has a better assimilation of the knowledge. So if we want the knowledge to be more than just a smattering that we can mouth, but then we have difficulty walking the talk, then this kind of frequent immersions, this is what is in order. So I thank you, Hari, for introducing me and for being willing to be the moderator of this session. And it is a joy and a delight to partake of this. And we have chosen for you a text that is a very wonderful text. It is called Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam. Ashtakam, Octet. So 8 verses to enlightenment, basically. We can look at it like that. And that is in a way, within the method of communicating the knowledge, a sextet, meaning 6 verses, like Nirvana Shatkam, Octet, Ashtakam, and like this, Panchakam, Maya Panchakam, 5 verses, so like a quintet. And so like this we have, there is a very nice, what is that called? There is a pratha, a custom in the Shastra to be able to, do this. And even though prose is encouraged, but the power of poetry is something not to be laughed at, because when the same thing is mentioned in verse, there is a stronger, there is a better assimilation, a stronger identification. And so the verses and meters and all are very, very carefully chosen. And so Swarupa means one's own nature. And what is the big thing about Swarupa? The main thing we need to know about Swarupa is Swarupasya na nivrittihi. Nivritti means removal, change. Nanivrittihi means the Swarupa is that which cannot be changed. Swarupa literally means nature, my own nature. Swarupa, Swa, my own. Rupa, nature. So, my own nature, when you say my own nature, it usually includes a mix of elements, things that can be changed and things that cannot be changed. Like you say, for example, if one were to say, my nature is to get angry whenever anybody opposes me. That is that really your nature? No, because that can change. That can change, and that does change. That does change. Oh, my nature is to love all kinds of sweet things. That also changed when the diagnosis of high sugar was made by the doctor. That immediately changed. I learned to like other things than sugar. So obviously, my nature is to be very strong. Okay, maybe in your 20s, but then in your 60s, 70s, no, when you're 22, yeah, the nature is to be strong, you can say. So, as you can see, the word nature shifts its definition. Whether we talk about the body, whether we talk about the mind, whether we talk about the emotions, or whether we talk about raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. This is the, this is the changing aspect of what is called my own nature, or what we think to be one's own nature. There is, however, deeper within that, when those surface level changes have been accounted for and understood, who is the one observing the one who is changing? Who is the one who is observing the changing nature? This is what we have to ask. And the one that is observing the changing nature is none other than the changeless one. The changeless I, who is naturally contented, who is naturally free, who is naturally happy, who is naturally non demanding, contented, appreciative person. That is the changeless nature. That is how you are in sleep. In sleep, nobody demands anything. Before sleep, you demand, yes. When you wake up, the demands rise. Where is my coffee? Where is my morning tea? That the demands come. But in sleep, no demands. Very, very interesting to see this vyabhichara, this contradiction. In sleep, there is no demand at all. None whatsoever, no demands. Why? How? Because sleep is a form of liberation, is a form of freedom. In sleep, there are no demands. In sleep, you have what we call moksha, total freedom from being demanding. Whether you have moksha or not in sleep, all the loved ones have moksha from you when you sleep, because you are not demanding. Okay, so this is definitely the case. You have no demands, you have no worries, you are contented. Why? Because you don't want to get up. That contentment from sleep, one becomes very agitated when the sleep is not there, when one is not able to sleep. That is why there is this agitation. So therefore what? So therefore the the understanding here. So when we say Swarupa in Vedanta Shastra, in the knowledge that reveals this unchanging self. So this is the self that you want to be. This is who you think you know you are, but not fully somehow. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be not stressed. There is some kind of a universal yearning to be free, to be limitless. And Vedanta Shastra unfolds that truth. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, this idea Svarupa means we are not talking of the changing body and even faster changing mind, the changing sense organs, the changing raga dvesha, the changing moods, the changing emotions. We are talking of the changeless I, which is observing all these things, and that which is observing all these things has to be free of all these things. This is a law. This is a law. So, in order to detect motion, that which detects motion has to be motionless. If you're sitting in a train and then the other train is moving, there is a train on the next track, you are looking at that train. The other train is moving. How do you know? Because you are stationary. If you are also moving, you are unable to gauge the movement of that train. Similarly, and this is how it is even in the matters of the self that is to be revealed. Even there, the one if the moods are constantly changing, and if I am the sum total of the moods, then I will not be able to discern anger. I will not be able to discern fear because I am also constantly changing. But I'm able to tell you, now I'm happy. Now I'm angry. People are able to tell each other, you are able to say this. You are able to discern the emotions. I'm angry. But the expression has to change because it's not that you are angry. You are the observer of the anger. I am hungry. There is a wrong association with the prana. So, therefore, what? I am the observer of that which is, I'm the observer of a condition called hunger. I'm restless. I'm the observer of the mental condition called the mind. I'm sad. I'm the observer of the emotion called sorrow. The observer is free of that which is observed. This is the basic premise of Vedanta, which we all know, which is very easy to forget because of what we call Atma Ajnanam, the self ignorance. That's the translation of Atma Ajnanam, self ignorance. Self ignorance is what is the problem here. And because of that, what happens? I am always thinking that I am one with the mind, one with the body, this wrong identification. And that wrong identification is interrupted by this text like every other text. And so here, Swarupa in this text means that I, which I long to understand, which I know I am. I know I'm contented. I know I'm non demanding. I know I'm limitless. I know I'm free. I know I'm whole. But, dot. I don't seem to be able to understand that in the present time. I don't seem to be able to be assimilating this at all. And so that discrepancy is what this text is going to bridge in a very, very clever way. So this is Svarupa. And since there is this contradiction between the self that I want to be and the self that I think I am and the self that I identify with, then that is why the Anusandhana is needed. What is Anusandhana? Enquiry. See, if I were already what I want to be, then there is no enquiry needed. And if I cannot be who I want to be, then also there is no enquiry that is needed because in that case, in the latter case, the enquiry is useless. If the enquiry is useless, then what is the point? There is no point at all. And so, therefore, the enquiry becomes necessary when things are not what they seem. Whether we are talking of what should I say, a government enquiry against a politician. The politician is not what he or she seems. They seem to be very wonderful and they seem to be very caring when? Only during the time of the elections. And then after that, suddenly, the money is missing from the coffers. And so an enquiry against that person is launched because things are not as they seem. Here also, a kind of a self, an ersatz self that masquerades as I, that ahankara, which is the I notion, which is identified with everything. The I notion is identified with everything finite, everything temporary, and that I notion is masquerading as the I, but still mourning its condition and yearning to be something it is not. That is when the enquiry is needed, because there is a big gap between who I am and what I want to be. That is what it is. Who I think I am and what I want to be. Therefore, the Anusandhana or the enquiry is needed. The enquiry is needed. And so, therefore, what? This is why the Ashtakam is the octet that gives this kind of, that enables this kind of an inquiry, at the end of which we have hopefully a firmer understanding and a firmer grasp of what is it that is my nature, and how to get in touch with this nature that I call myself, in order to be more free, to be less bound, to feel less constricted, to understand that I am limitless. That is the subject matter of Vedanta. So, Vedanta is not, in other words, Vedanta Shastra is not that which drills new knowledge into you. It is that which removes the ignorance and the wrong identification to various things. It removes that. That is Vedanta. It doesn't really give new knowledge. How can it? Because you already know it. The self is known, much like, the example, the stock example given here is much like something that is lying in the dark. You come home late at night, and nowadays the light goes out early. The days are shorter and the nights are longer. So you come home at twilight, and what do you see? Something with three bends lying in front of your door. You're afraid to even go unlock the door. Oh my God, what is this? Snake! Eek! But fortunately, you have your cell phone and you turn the flashlight on, and then what happens? You understand that some children were playing in front of your house and it is just a skipping rope. It's a rope that is lying in this. But then your mind went to the place of not rope, but aropa. You superimposed a snake and got scared. You scared yourself by superimposing a snake. Why? Because that is where the source of fear is. That is where the fear is. That is where the problem is. So you superimposed a snake. Why? Because that snake is the product of your own fear. That fear was projected onto a thing. What kind of a thing? An unknown thing? No. You cannot be afraid of an unknown thing, or a thing that is totally unknown cannot be the cause of fear or the cause of any kind of a superimposition. Cannot. Think about it. How can you be afraid of something unknown? No. And similarly, a known thing cannot be cause of fear. Why? Because it is known. You can stay away from it. So you can stay away from it. So when you know something as something, there is no confusion. But where is the confusion? The confusion is in the partial knowledge. The partial knowledge. That is where the confusion is, and that's where the confusion has to be corrected. So I know there is something there, but I don't know what it is. And the not knowing what it is, the ajnanam of the rope, makes it a sitting, the partial ajnanam of the nature of the rope makes it a sitting duck for all kinds of projection, snake, etc. Likewise, the ajnanam of the adhishthana. Adhishthana means the truth of the I. The ajnanam of this adhishthana makes me project all these things, all kinds of aropas upon that I, which is not unknown, which is partially known. Partially known means what? I know I am. Aham asmi. I know. I am. I know. Why? How do you know you are? Well, if I ask you the question, are you here? What will you say? Yes. Of course, you will say yes. Yes, I am here. And when you say yes, I am here, that means what? You didn't have to ask anybody else. Do I exist? You don't have to ask. Without asking, do I exist? You know you are here. It is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. This is called Swatasiddha Atma, self evident I, self effulgent I. Upon this fact that I don't need to be established, the whole Vedanta Shastra is based. I know I am, but then don't ask me any more questions. Who are you? Deep philosophical questions. Please don't ask why, because the answer that will come is in keeping with the conditioning of childhood. Who are you? Idiot. This is the answer that comes. Why? Because of so many conditionings and the internalizing of those conditionings. My guru, Swami Dayananda ji, used to make a joke. He used to say, if you go to to some kind of a crowded hall and you call out Rama, Rama is a very common Indian name. And then what? So half the people will say, yeah, me? Are you talking to me? And then half the people will answer to that Rama. So many names are Rama. What is that? Jai Rama, Raja Rama, so many Ramas are there. Rama, half the people will answer. Another common name is what? Krishna. Then you go into the hall again and shout Krishna. The other half will answer. The other half of the men that are there will answer because it's a very common name. Then Swamiji said, you can make another experiment. Go to the hall a third time and say, donkey, idiot. Then all of them will answer because everybody feels a sense of want and a sense of wrong understanding of who they are. No confidence and a sense of lowliness. I'm not what I want to be. I'm not important. I feel lowly and I don't feel good. That's why I need all these things to collect and buttress my self image. I have to keep seeking, because only when I have a lot, somebody will respect me. Then you ask the person, why do you want somebody to respect you? Because the truth is, I don't respect myself. That's why I want other people's validation. Somebody should say, aha, he is somebody, she is somebody. Look at her, look at him. Somebody has to keep saying. Then I feel validated. And the path to the validation depends on too many things. Some people want to amass wealth as a ticket to validation. Some people want to amass a fame as a ticket to validation. Some people want to amass some kind of a, make some kind of a legacy. Sometimes they say, I want to have a child. And if I have a child, that will be my validation because I've left something behind in this, in this world. What have you left behind? Oh, I gave birth to a son, a daughter. Oh, but yeah, but they are in jail. Doesn't matter. At least I've left something. They are incarcerated. They are behind bars. No, but still it is important. Some kind of a way. I want to make a mark. I want to leave something behind. These pressures, these desires come from the original problem of knowing myself partially, like even the rope in twilight. The rope at twilight gives rise to all kinds of non-understanding. The rope at twilight becomes a sitting duck for being mistaken for a snake. And similarly, the partially known I, becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of superimpositions of limitlessness, fears, tears, and all kinds of wrong associations and wrong understanding and wrong identifications. This is what is, this is where Vedanta makes an entry. This is where it has to. Because as the verses themselves will say, I won't give too much of an introduction because the verses will introduce themselves. Very, very nice. As the verses will introduce themselves and reveal what? Reveal the fact that at some point, with the right preparation of mind, when the mind is prepared, what will happen? What will happen is that there will be a desire to know rather than the desire to become. This is the spiritual graduation. From the desire to become, I graduate into just the desire to be me. And how does this graduation happen? The verses themselves will explain. We will get into into the text very, very soon. But before that, something about the text and the meter. Very, very nice. Maybe I'll share the screen, and so we can look at the text together. That will be nice. Okay. Let me do that. And, no, that's the wrong one. Let's see which I am sharing. Hold on. Are you able to see anything at all? Yes?
Yes,
No?
Swamini. Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can also see it because I'm not seeing this. Hold on. Yeah. So this is the one. Yes. Uh, Here we go. So, Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam, it also has another name, Vijnana Nauka. Nauka means boat, the boat of knowledge, the boat of self knowledge, boat of self wisdom. And why does it have the meaning of the word boat? Because the boat is needed when you are crossing something which you cannot cross by car, by plane. What do you need? Boat, or even by swimming. You can swim, but you can't. But why can't I swim here? The waters are dangerous. So the ocean of samsara. That's why the boat is needed, because there are alligators. Half of the blessed animal is teeth. It can grab the leg like it did for Adi Shankara one time. It can grab the leg. And then there is the seaweed of feeling obligated and feeling like I'm bound to these people and I'm bound to these kinds of pursuits. Because after a lifetime, after a half a life of pursuing dysfunctional things like name, fame, etc., then what happens? Then you just, you just don't know how to drop that habit. You just don't know how to drop that habit. And so therefore, this is a this nauka will rescue you from that habit, will rescue you from the seaweed of desire and depression. Desire always leads to depression because most of the desires cannot be fulfilled. That is why one keeps striving all the time. And so this is how it happens. And then this is why it is called Vijnana Nauka, or Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam, the 8 verses of inquiry into the nature of the I, as I have explained. Then, the verse itself is in what is called a very nice meter, and it's got a very, very beautiful and famous meter, which is called Bhujanga Prayata. Bhujanga means snake. And just like that's why the snake example was invoked, I suppose, right from the start to welcome the Bhujanga Prayata meter. And why is this Bhujanga? What is the beauty of this Bhujanga Prayata? Bhujanga Prayata is beautiful because it mimics the undulating movement of a Bhujanga. Bhuja means shoulders. And so the snake is limbless. It doesn't have legs and all. So it moves with the help of its body, shoulders, figuratively speaking. Not that, don't ask me, please point out the shoulders of the snake. No, that's not the point here. It just moves using its, what we would, the place where the shoulders would be, propelling itself. So it moves like this. There is an undulating motion which also mimics the movement of a boat on water. Little bobbing up and down, little going this way, that. There is a kind of a lilting, lulling tones, not to put one to sleep, but to put the raga dveshas, the overpowering pursuits, the desire for this and desire for that, strong prejudices, strong, what is that called? Strong preferences. That is what it lulls into a place of sleep. So we can so that the knowledge is assimilated nicely. Then there is also another thing that we should know about the Bhujanga Prayata. Bhujanga Prayata is the movement of the snake. It is not straightforward. Likewise, Vedanta teaching, the way it is assimilated is through stories, through jokes, and so it is like this. You have to make a little bit of a digression, and then you come back to the topic. Because if I were to keep a straight face, yeah, through tapas, through yajna, through dana, everybody becomes matured, and then after that, you will become ready for this knowledge. You will all, you will all go away, and I can't blame you for that. Because as I can see from the people, for many people it's midnight and people are still there. From America they have logged on, and so to keep it going, the pedagogy that we gain from our gurus is to make it relevant. It has to catch the heart and let the heart blossom. If it is not relevant to you, why will you listen to it? Yes, I may be saying the correct thing. I mean, yes, through tapas, through austerities, tapas, it is correct. Through yajna, this is the next thing that is there in the verse. Through yajna, you will mature. Yes, correct. Shuddha buddhi, shuddha pure. Buddhi means thinking, discrimination. It's all correct. But if I say it like this, then there is an aruchi. Aruchi means there is not a connection. There is not a way of being able to to connect to the text, to be able for that text to operate upon you. Then that undulating movement is necessary. This is the second beauty of the Bhujanga Prayata. Beautiful, absolutely, absolutely beautiful. This is the second thing that is just fantastic. Then the third and the final thing about the Bhujanga is very, very interesting, because this Bhujanga meter becomes we have becomes a stuti. Stuti means a praise. So we have Subramanya Bhujanga. We have verses for Devata Bhagavan in the form of the warrior of all Ragadveshas. Yeah, we are having a question. Where is this PDF available? You can ask. I request the moderator. Can you please share this through the text? Because I don't know how to do that. Can you please
Actually,
share that?
yes, Swaminiji.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
option is not available to me as well. So I'm just trying to find that out. I will send
Oh,
it in a while. Yeah.
yeah. That that option is available to me. I will send
Okay.
it. One second.
All right.
Let
All
me
right.
just take a little break and send it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sure.
just saw it. How to do that? I'm putting it in the chat box. So
Yeah,
in the same place where you ask the questions, not questions, chat. In the
yeah,
chat, I'm trying to put it. Let's
sure,
see. Let me just choose everyone. Let's see if it will let me do that.
sure.
Uh, It is not allowing me to do that. I'm trying. It is showing the plus sign. Okay. Plan B, I will, you can do this while I talk. Please
Sure.
put it in Dropbox and share a link so that people
Sure.
can download.
I will
Okay,
do that.
that's
Yeah, I
plan
will.
B. Okay.
That
So I can also do that, but I'd rather be talking rather than doing that.
definitely.
Thank
Sure,
you,
sure,
Hari.
sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So you will get the text, but right now you're looking at it, so no problem. You can just look at it for now. So you'll get the text quickly. Don't worry. So then we have. So this is the Bhujanga Prayata meter, and the third thing I was going to say about the Bhujanga Prayata is that it is used for beautiful praiseworthy meter, because it's a meter to praise. We have Shiva Bhujanga, we have Subramanya Bhujanga, like that. And even Vedanta texts are in the Bhujanga meter. Another one, which is an example, is what is that? Hasta Malakiyam. Same kind of a meter, very beautiful meter. And so therefore this is suited. There is the precedent of having this for Vedanta talks, Vedanta verses as well. So then that is the thing. And then, in terms of categorization of this text, it is also important to mention something else, that this usually we have prakarana granthas. It is divided into prakarana granthas, manana granthas, and nididhyasana granthas. So, what is Prakarana Grantha? Prakarana Grantha is a copycat of the Upanishad, a manuscript that is a copycat of the Upanishad. It unfolds the vision, it unfolds the method to get this vision, it unfolds what to do in order to qualify for understanding this vision, and it gives the phala of this vision, the fruits of what will happen if you gain this vision, and what will happen if you gain this vision. You will be free. You will no longer feel like you have to be in a state of enslavement, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about anything. You can be free, and you don't have to want anything at all. It's a place of non-wanting and limitless happiness. That is the phala. So this is called Prakarana Grantha. Systematically, it will unfold and fill in to the Upanishads, because the Upanishad is a lady of few words. She doesn't say much. The Prakarana Grantha will fill in the blanks and take you to flesh it out. Then there are certain other granthas called manana granthas, which are basically needed, which are basically needed. They don't. Their purport is not to unfold the knowledge systematically. Their purpose is to look at the is to look at the teaching, and then remove whatever doubts you may have, whether those doubts are whether about what I'm studying, or how I can be Brahman, or what is this all about. That is the thing. And then an example of a manana grantha is a very highly regarded work called Advaita Makaranda pollen, the pollen of non duality. The idea is we are all bees humming towards the flower which is having the pollen of non duality, to collect it and spread it everywhere. So that is a typical Manana Grantha. And then what is that? What does the Manana Grantha do? The Manana Grantha is the Manana Grantha. What does it do? The Manana Grantha gives the reasonings why you are Brahman. So in this Advaita Makaranda, first is a premise, and then the second line is the reasoning why this premise works or doesn't work. Ahamasmi sada bhami kadachinnaham apriyah brahmaivaham atas siddham satchidananda lakshanam. So the last line says Brahmaiva aham atas siddham. Now it is established that I am Brahman. Why? I know I am, aham asmi. Sada bhami, I am aware of my existence. And never am I an object of self-dislike. I'm not an object of self-dislike. Meaning what? I am not an object of self-loath. Even if I have tons of self-loath, I am not coming in that spell. Why? Because I'm waiting for that self-loath to go. I have self loath, yes. I have self critique, yes. But I hate the fact that I have self loath. Means what? I have self love. That is what it is. That is what it is. It's very beautiful. And so this is this is why this Bhujanga meter works very well. And then so this Prakarana Grantha, Manana Grantha, then there is Niddhidhyasana Grantha. Niddhidhyasana Grantha means a manuscript that is not really unfolding the knowledge, but is a restatement of the vision of the Upanishad, because I know I am Brahman, but I have Viparita Buddhi. Viparita Buddhi means I still get angry, I still get upset, I still have smallness. I know I'm Brahman, but I don't behave like Brahman. And for that, it is Nididhyasana Grantha. Now, if we look at this text and the 9 verses of this text, we are in a spin. Why? Because this is a cuspid octet. Octet. Cuspid means it's neither a Prakarana Grantha, nor is it a Manana Grantha, nor is it a Nididhyasana Grantha. Why? Because the author, some Shankaracharya or the other, it is attributed to Shankaracharya because that was the custom in the olden days. So the author wanted to keep you on your feet so that you will pay attention. If supposing if it was a Prakarana Grantha, the Ahankara, the jaded, faded Jiva, what will the jaded, faded Jiva say? The jaded, faded Jiva will say, I know this, this इसमें क्या है, कुछ नहीं है, this is what, this is the Prakarana Grantha, been there, done that. And then you'll stop paying attention. And if you are told it's a Manana Grantha, yeah, I've done enough Mananam, been there, done that, this is a jaded feeling. Niddhidhyasanam, I don't need Niddhidhyasanam, I have knowledge, okay, go. This is how it is. So this keeps you on your toes. You're like, oh, the first paragraph, the first stanza, Prakarana Grantha. Then, even in that first stanza, the last line is a Nidhidhyasana, and the second line is Mananam. Like this, it will be. It just keeps you on your toes, and that is exactly where we want you to be. Yeah. Harry, somebody is raising the hand. I'm not sure why. If it's I just request everybody, if it's an urgent request, if there's something you cannot hear or something, then only raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll have some question period at the end. You can ask. Okay, yeah. So maybe it's an accident. I don't know. Sometimes you press something and the hand gets raised. All right. So with these words, let us chant the first stanza and then see where to go from there. तपोयज्ञदानादिभिः शुद्धबुद्धिः विरक्तो नृपादेः पदे तुच्छबुद्ध्या परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि तपोयज्ञदानादिभिः शुद्धबुद्धिः विरक्तो नृपादेः पदे तुच्छबुद्ध्या परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि. You can see the snake and the boat here. Yeah, you can see that in how it is there. There are many ways to chant it, but I chose the simplest tune so that we can emulate and enjoy also. And then you can just sort of see how the snake is moving here, and very nice. And so let us look at the meaning. Tapaha tapascha yajnascha danadischa, then taihi danadibhihi tapo yajna danadibhihi. Third case plural, which means through tapas, and we'll see what that means, through yajna, second, and through dana, adipadat, other, etc. Supposing if I say hat, coat, etc., then you include the umbrella also, even though it's not mentioned. Okay, so like that. Adi Padat, we have, other things which we will see. Then this is in instrumental case, which means because of this, because of something called tapas, because of something called yajna, because of something called dana, etc., what happens? Shuddha buddhi comes. Shuddha buddhi. Buddhi means my thinking, my intellect, my mental infrastructure. that is what that is what is Shuddha buddhi, and that is what is that is what comes. And this is exactly what comes. And so the tapo yajna danadibhi Shuddha buddhi. So there is a cause effect, a karya karana connection. So the karya, the effect is Shuddha buddhi, and we'll see what that is. And for getting a buddhi that is uncluttered, I would not like to define Shuddha here as pure, even though that is the meaning. Because otherwise, we don't want one more complex saying, I have impure mind. No. I have impure buddhi. Oh no. Already the life is full of complexes. Shuddha buddhi here means an uncluttered buddhi. Uncluttered. Just like, let's say you have not cleaned the house in a long time, maybe a week or 10 days, all the things are lying everywhere. The kitchen is a mess, the living room is a mess, the bedroom is a mess, everything is a mess. Then suddenly you get a phone call. Why do you get a phone call? Because now the pandemic is at low levels. People have started to visit each other. Before you could live like a pig and nobody knew. But now somebody calls and says, I'm on my way. I'm going to pass through your house. I'm visiting. And so what do? You quickly just take everything that is there, and whatever cupboard is at hand, you shove it in that cupboard, and with great difficulty you call your significant other also, both of you put the weight on the cupboard and close it off. All right? In the hope that the visitor will not open it, or you don't need to open it in front of the visitor. So if the buddhi is like this overstuffed closet with all kinds of things that were lying around, what kinds of things? Objects of desire. Preoccupation. I have to do this. Somebody will be mad. Okay, let them be mad. Why should you do this? No, no. If they are mad, that means they will be angry with me. Let them be angry, Baba. What is wrong with you? Why should you worry? No, because if they are angry with me, means they will not validate me. They will be upset with me. I want the whole world to love me. Why? Because I don't love myself. Simple. That's all. It all goes back to the I. Vedanta is an inside job, real. We have to steal away the doubt and the despair. It's an inside job. I have always said this. And so therefore, I want this. I want this right now. And how to do this right now? How to do this right now means, this is, I can't, I am bound to in my actions. I'm bound by my desires. I'm bound by my reactions. Because I didn't get my way, I got angry. So the buddhi is cluttered with pursuits, most of them needless. Oh, what do you mean needless? You can sit there wearing orange and say, oh, you don't need to pay the bills. What do you mean? I need to pay my bills. I need to do this. I need to work. I need to get some kind of a thing. Well, yes, we are not talking of that. Needless pursuits are those which you don't need to do, which is just based on some kind of an ego trip, or fear of displeasing others, or fear of not getting something in life. That's what it is. So just like that closet, which just before the guest came, you just stuff it and put it there. Everyone's buddhi, and the guest is, basically Vedanta. So before the Vedanta is ushered and given a place of a respectful guest in one's life, the buddhi is full of all kinds of clutter. All kinds of clutter. Needless things are there. Obligations. and I have to do this, otherwise people won't like me, people will be mad at me. What will people think? In India, I don't know. In America, they don't bother so much about what people think. But in India, this is the main disease. What will people think it is? This is what it is. Everybody, what will people think? Oh, if I do this. And I tell you this, many people don't come to many Vedanta classes because of this. Oh, whole weekend, what will people think? For 4 hours every day, what will people think? 8 hours, OMG, what will people think? And this is a disease. What will people think it is? That is the disease. That is the of this is the symptom of samsara. This is the samsara itself is a symptom of atma ajnanam, the disease called atma ajnanam. So therefore, the buddhi is not shuddha. Shuddha means it is not uncluttered enough for me to have a little more lofty set of thoughts. How come I'm very calm when I am in nature? And how come when I'm surrounded by people, I'm agitated? Those are lofty thoughts. There is no time for introspection. When the buddhi is cluttered, there is no time for Bhagavan. Why? Because there's only space to perhaps sing some longing songs. Darshan kab doge? When will you give me darshan? Oh Lord, oh Goddess. Aankh micholi mat khelo. Don't play hide and seek with me and show me where you are. And Bhagavan, I tell you, Bhagavan is needing a cough drop because Bhagavan is hoarse, saying, I'm right here. In your buddhi, as your buddhi, I'm right here. Lord Hari, Lord Krishna is saying that. I'm right here as your buddhi. Look. But I can't look. Why? Because there is a forest of desires. It is cluttered by objects of wants, objects of don't wants. And somehow I have to clean the buddhi out. It's very simple to clean the closet. You have to throw things out because you have amassed too many things. That's why it is not fitting in the closet. That's why your house looks like a pigsty. That you have to get rid of a few things, like last month's newspaper and all these things. You have to get rid of all that. That's easy to figure out. Oh, this needs to go. This needs to stay. Sometimes it is easy, okay? Sometimes it's not. Because what is happening in the buddhi spills over to one's life. As within, so without. But generally speaking, if one is objective enough, then okay, these are things that don't belong. I have to get rid of these things. They have no place in my life. Harder it is because the buddhi is sukshma, and the buddhi, with the help of the ahankara, clings on to those objects, people, situations, and events which it does not need, which it thinks it to be itself. It clings on to wrong notions, wrong ideas, wrong desires. And as a result, it becomes subject to sorrow, pain, and unfulfillment. So outside, it's very easy. I know how to clean. I know how to do, I need soap, I need water, I need a dustbin, and I put everything into the dustbin and then throw it out. Internally, what is the soap? What is the water? This is what it is. Tapas is the soap. Yajna is the water. Dana is the cleaning cloth that wipes up all the soapy water and all the dirt. That is what it is. How is tapas the soap? Just what does the soap do? The soap cuts into the grime. And similarly, tapas here, this little compound here, tapo yajna danadibhihi, this little compound of these three words are borrowed from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Yajnena danena tapasa vividishanti brahmanaha. There is a verse, there is a stanza in there's a vakya in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There is a vakya, Yajnena danena tapasa vividishanti brahmanaha. Brahmanaha means people who are interested in knowing Brahman. Brahmani charitum sheelam asya asti iti brahmana. People who want to be immersed in Brahman, what do? They get to the place of they purify their buddhi. How do they purify their buddhi? They purify their buddhi by tapas. Tapas means, it's some kind of austerities. A religious or spiritual, I'd rather like to call it spiritual practices, because, it's not really religious. It goes across the board. All religions have fasting. You see, in the month of Ramadan, 1 month fasting, so much in Islam. In Christianity also there is fasting. In the Hindu Dharma there is lot of fasting. Every Ekadashi, every 11th day of the waning and the waxing moon. So you fast. And then you fast on Amavasya also. Then again on the new moon days, already 4 fasts a month. And then if you look at your horoscope, so if you look at your horoscope, then the astrologers and gurus will tell you your guru is very weak, your Shukra is weak. So then Thursday, Friday, one meal you skip. So already you have so many fasts in a month. Then there will be other things like Pitru Paksha. All these things come. That is also more fast, fast, fast. So so this is a form of a spiritual religious austerity. Then if you ask the question, what is happening as a result of this fast? Nothing is happening. I feel I'm getting just hungrier. Well, no, that kind of an addiction to food is going. I eat in order to live, rather than live in order to eat. This is the beauty of the fast. This is the beauty of the spiritual austerity called fasting. There should be an objective relationship with the food. Hunger pangs given by Bhagavan, food given by Bhagavan, and the two should meet and must meet. And I should eat when I'm hungry. And not because I'm bored, not because I'm sad, not because I like this one thing and so I'll keep eating it until the stomach explodes, or until I need to spend the next 3 days in the bathroom. If you like jalebis and you eat a whole tokri, a basket full of jalebis, then you're out of commission for 3 days afterwards. So usually there is the raga dveshas express themselves. Ragas, strong prejudices. Dveshas, strong, what is that called? Uh, Strong preferences, raga, strong prejudices, dvesha. And so they express themselves in the form of severe likes and dislikes. And food is a very common way, because one, especially in Kali Yuga right now, and especially after the pandemic, where everybody is working from home, half the people are still working from home. That means what? You're sitting in one room, the kitchen is right next door. You can go whenever you want and graze, and whenever you want, you can eat. So the discipline, at least when you went to the office, 9 to 5, 8 to 3, whatever it was, the timings, that much time there was no eating. There was a tea break, there was a lunch break. It was actually good. But now one has lost that objectivity. In Kali Yuga itself, one has lost the objectivity, because we no longer eat with the seasons. This is an ecological travesty that we don't eat with the seasons. In India, just yesterday, day before yesterday, I was on my walk in the evening, and then I saw one man selling mangoes. I said, "What is this? How can you have mangoes in the middle of November? What is wrong with this world?" No, no, no. We are incubating it and doing this some kind of a greenhouse in this farm and everything. This is the kind of a thing. So we don't eat seasonally, and we no longer eat, generally speaking, when we are hungry. And food is not so much for hunger. Food is a social event, which is nothing wrong. But then, when you, the researchers tell us that when you eat at a restaurant, you eat more, because you're around more people and everything, and there is more goes in, and you can't control how much oil is there, how much salt is there. So it's worse for you. This is the kind of a thing that the researchers talk about. So with regard to eating, this is called tapas. There is a discipline with regard to eating. And then the life of a Vaidika in the Vedic tradition, there the whole life is the life itself is tapas. You can't get up at noon Why? Because you have to do yajna in the morning. That is how it is connected to yajna there. You can't just get up whenever you feel like. You can't just do whatever you feel like. There are duties. So you see, I'm changing the tone of my life from keeping myself wedded to what I want to do as I like to do. From there, I am changing my life by putting it on a diet of not. Not what I want to, not a diet of raga dveshas, but a diet of duties. What is it that I'm supposed to do? And when you ask that question, there is many things you're supposed to do. Your birth is not an accident. You are plugged into this universe. You are here. You have a role. You have to do certain things. And so those duties are very, 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 very important. So the tapas becomes a duty for the one who wants Shuddha Buddhi. So all kinds of religion, so like having a disciplined life. I have certain discipline means what? Dharma. So my life is in tandem with the universal matrix of norms called dharma. This is the disciplined life. And that disciplined life is what is needed to wear out for the raga and the dvesha to wear out their welcome. They should feel neglected. They should feel unwanted. They should feel like nobody is wanting them at all. And that is how I have to treat them. And when I treat them like that, then what happens? Then there is space. Then the clutter in the buddhi, the constantly being obsessed with food, or with friends, or with some video games, or the internet. Some of the obsessions are very, very subtle. Some people want to be all the time on the internet, all the time. And then this is all this has to go. And when this goes, then there is space for something else to come. And what is that something else? The contemplation, which is mentioned in the last line, Param Brahma Nityam, Nityam Param Brahma Tadeva, that alone I am. I am Brahman, I am one with the cause of the universe. I am that Bhagavan I seek. That, of course, we'll have to unfold a little more, but just now, just to connect the lines together. I am that which I seek. I am that which I want to be. I am that limitless, sentient cause of the universe. How will you understand this if there is no space in the life? If you're constantly pursuing the finite, where is the space for the infinite? There is no space to pursue the infinite because the quest itself has become infinite. I'm infinitely obsessed with the finite. And when I catch a hold of a finite object, then I feel it is my ticket to infinity. What do? I grasp at the finite and try to make it infinite. This is the travesty of the universe. This starting with this body. I know this body is finite, but then what? I want to make it infinite. That's what keeps all the plastic surgeons in a job, in places like Florida and all. That's what it is because everybody wants the wrinkles gone. Everybody wants all the sags and the bags in the body gone. Everybody wants to look like they are 40 when they are 80. They want to look like 20 when they are 40. And it goes on and on. The body will sag naturally. And there will be bags under the eyes naturally. You're growing older, they will be growing older. You are not growing older, the body is growing older. That is the point. But in the obsession to fix this body, you have compromised you. Where is the you? That you is not an object, the subject is not in focus. Because you are distracted by the finite, thinking that to be yourself, there is a mad rush to take care of the body. There is a mad rush to take care of the mind by eating all kinds of berries. They have found out that the berries are very good for mind. And then certain herbs like what is that called? Brahmi and all that. Brahmi herb, all these things very good for the mind. So I want to keep the mind And then some games, number games like Sudoku, if I play, I won't have dementia. All these things people think. I mean, nothing wrong in trying to keep the mind sharp and to keep the body fit. But this over obsession is what we are talking about here, not not that which is done within bounds. Here, that which has become that has become boundless. How do we know? Because there is even a shop called Body Shop. There is a shop called Body Shop, which will keep the body, all kinds of potions and lotions everywhere, different colors. And then you go there and they'll say, oh, your skin is like this, you need that, you need this. All the whole focus is on the finite, and thinking, because I don't know the infinite and I mistake the finite to be the infinite, and and I catch hold of the finite and then try to make it infinite, and one whole lifetime gone, another lifetime gone, third lifetime gone. This is how it is. Infinitely sad, infinitely unhappy. To reverse that, I have to stop pursuing the finite. Stop pursuing the finite. That's what it is. So, and then if I stop pursuing the finite, what to do? You know what to do? You have to pursue the infinite. How to pursue the infinite? Before that, I don't even like the infinite because I don't know the infinite. It's boring. You just take some, you go to a mall, and you go to the mall and distribute some leaflets on Vedanta. Okay, this is just a joke. You just go to a mall and try this experiment. You say, okay, please join the next weekend with wisdom, and this is what it is, and this is what the speaker will be talking about. Who will come from there? Nobody. Why? There is no preparation. No preparation. No tapas has been done. And when you put the body and the mind on a disciplined life is a dharmic life. And why is the dharmic life important? The dharmic life is important because in our tradition, dharma is a manifestation of Ishvara, a manifestation of God, not just a mandate of God. It's not a mandate of God, it's a manifestation. The closer I am to doing the right thing at all times, that means what? That means the closer I am to Bhagavan, the cause of the universe. Less conflicted, less disconnected, less alienated. Try it. That's what it is. So, why is dharma important? Because there is a tug of war between the asuras and the devas. Devas means those tendencies within me that naturally are law abiding, that naturally want to be considerate of others, that naturally want to just be in tandem with what is right, what is correct, what is appropriate in every situation. And what are the asuras? Those ragadveshas that have been co opted into going rogue and saying, Rakshasas, demons, in saying, come on, so what? Cut a corner here, so what? Nobody will know. Nobody will know. I was giving the example the other day. In India, you go and then, in a crowded marketplace, poor things, all the municipal law bodies, they have to put a sticker, a big poster saying, please do not spit here. Because here we have this problem of chewing this tobacco and betel leaf and little lime, and then it turns the mouth red and it causes a lot of saliva to come. So everywhere you have red spit, and so they will put a board, please don't spit here, a poster. And one time, again on my walk, I noticed that I could barely read the poster because it was full of spit. This is what it is. And then so if somebody says, oh, other people have already spat on it, so therefore I will spit. That is not dharma. That is not dharma. Dharma means you have to be uncomfortable. That which makes you uncomfortable when you follow it, at least in the beginning, then you know you are in line with it. Because that leads us to the next word, yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. Here it literally means, in the ancient times, it literally meant fire ritual, but metaphorically and allegorically, it means sacrifice. Fire sacrifice, we say. Why is it sacrifice? Because to set up that whole thing is not easy. Pandits need to be invited, money has to be collected and paid to them. The senior most gets the lot, and all these things, that is all there. Dakshina has to be given. All the people who come have to be given a gift. And then you have to make the fire pit properly. Everything has to be proper. All the offerings at the correct time. You have to invite the people. You have to make them feel good. You have to organize food for them, because yajna without food is unheard of. Food should be there, and you feed the people, then send them off respectfully and with a lot of love. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of work. One is, you cannot be thinking, when will I have the food? I'm only feeding other people. You cannot even, that thought will not even cross your mind. You know why? Because there is no time. You're busy attending to people. That is why it is called sacrifice. So here nowadays, very few people are doing yajna. It happens in temples, in a very few Nitya Agnihotris. The Nitya Karmis are very few. So therefore, we have to take it metaphorically. Also, sacrifice means what? I sacrifice the raga dveshas in order to give happiness to somebody else. Why? Because I can. Because I can. So let's say you sit down after a long days of work, you have saved yourself a piece of chocolate cake, you are dying for it, you feel, okay, I've done everything, I've put everything else away, this is my reward, I have worked all day. You're about to cut into it. And then a friend comes. The friend says, cake, oh my God, I really want it. Then what? What do you do then? And you say, I haven't had anything all day long. Okay, please have it. Or at least with great reluctance, you cut it in half and then you give them, even while you're lamenting inside, you let them have half. You know it's a small piece, but you let them have half. Okay, theek hai, you can also eat this, and it makes you, even though you are happy to share, it makes you a little uncomfortable. Oh, why this fellow had to come right now? Why could he not come 10 minutes later when I would have finished it? And so that little regret, that is a cause for self growth. That causes a little decluttering, because in relationship to that object of delight, I am free. There is a connection between giving. That's another meaning of yajna and dana. Dana means giving. So there is a connection between giving and growing. The more you give, the more you grow. That's how it is. You grow. And in fact, it is there in the body language of everybody. So you look at the body language of a philanthropist who is saying, today at this ceremony, at this function, I am giving $1 million to this particular charity which has done such a wonderful job. And the giver stands straight, erect, and happy, confident. But if you're always begging, you look at the demeanor of the beggar, helpless, victimized, small. Oh, please give me, please don't scold me. Please, please, please give me this, give me this, give me this. That is how it is. So the giver, one needs to grow from being a constant receiver to a giver. That is the relative goal of life. The absolute goal is that this kind of a growth is going to lead you to this knowledge, to desire this knowledge, and to prepare for this knowledge. It's really amazing. But I grow by becoming uncomfortable. I learn to walk in these new shoes, which may pinch in the beginning, but after that they become like second feet. It's like I'm walking barefoot. I'm walking. Why? Because I'm used to the footwear. It has become comfortable. But before, the person uh, who was used to, accustomed to doing however they liked, whatever they liked, and then they did anyhow, anytime, whatever it is, and whatever they did, they are now put on a diet of discipline, and then giving dana, and then what else? Yajna, sacrifice, and that leads to growth. The third one is dana. Dana means, as I said, giving, reaching out actions. It can be about donations, but it need not be about money. It need not be about money. It can be, but it need not be about money. And it is very, very important to understand this, because there are many ways you can give yourself. Sometimes just a smile, sometimes just a kind look, sometimes the whatever you can contribute physically, emotional, sitting with somebody, listening to them, all this all this is just very, 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 very nice. It's very akin, it's very in keeping with this growth. So, reaching out actions, making the space in my life not to just be, have this tunnel vision of just seeing what I want and how I want to accomplish what I want. But being able to look around, somebody is in need, somebody is in despair, and I can help. I'm in a position to help. I can lift them up a little bit. I can spend time with them. I can counsel them. I can invite them for a meal. Whatever it takes, I'm able to do. This is Adi. Adi means whatever it takes, whatever else that's not been covered by these words. And then what? You know, Dhanadibihi, then you find that there is space. Suddenly, what there is emotional maturity. Meaning, I grow from being a reactive person to a responsive person. A reactive person is the one who constantly reacts to all kinds of situations. Reacts means, oh, I didn't want this. Oh, how could you do this to me? And what is this? What do you mean you're a friend? You keep canceling the times that we have together. Last minute you cancel and you go do something else. And, this is reactivity. A one step, outburst without really stepping back and looking at the situation. So from that, being that kind of an offensive defensive person, I grow into an accommodative person. That is what is called the one who is endowed with shuddha buddhi. And that is the person who doesn't react, who responds to the situation, no, and the person, not to the hurt. I may be hurt. Supposing somebody says, oh, I'm going to visit you at 5 o'clock, and they never come, they never call. I may be offended. I may be upset. But then the next thought would be maybe the next thought for somebody would be, I'm going to call them and give them a piece of my mind. But then you don't touch the dial, you don't touch the phone. And then you say, maybe they had a reason. Then what happens? The accommodation grows. Oh, what could be the reason? Maybe they're not well. Maybe they're not, in the thing. Then something happened. Then you call them. What happened? Yes, yes, I remember I had to do this, but my child went for an exam and forgot something. I had to run, to the school and give them that thing they needed for their exam. Oh, okay, that is totally all your anger goes. You see, you being a reasonable person, you understand. Yes, there was some reason. But supposing the friend just flaked off, forgot, and then, oh, were we going to get together? I didn't remember. Then also, let us say, because of yajna, dana, tapas, not just one time, but a lifetime of practice of that, you have gained accommodation. You will say, it doesn't matter. It is okay. No, but why should I say it is okay? Why not get angry? Okay, you can get angry. It is within your rights to get angry. What will happen after you get angry? Can that 5 o'clock of yesterday, when they ghosted you, when they stood you up, can that can that be reproduced? No. Yes, they can make another time. Yes, they can. You can do that another time. But that time will not come back. What is the use of getting angry? Either the friend is a responsible friend or the friend is a flake. So you cannot make the flake into a non-flake, because that's how the person is for now. Until they have to change, you cannot change them. So you have two choices. Oh, but they are so good. Then if you think that they are wonderful to you, you connect to those aspects of the friendship that are wonderful to you, and let go of those that the flaky nature. Don't put yourself in harm's way. You have a phone relationship. Don't ever say, let's get together, let's go to this cafe, let's have a time together. Don't do that anymore. Leave them free to be who they are. Have a phone relationship. At some point, they are themselves going to miss you and they are going to say, I want to come to your house tomorrow, and then they may come. You let them be. This is what is Shuddha Buddhi. And this is how it is gained. And then what does this Shuddha Buddhi looks like? The Shuddha Buddhi translates into Virakti. Why? Shuddha Buddhi is a short form for Viveka. Discrimination between what I want and what I don't want, and what is permanent and what is temporary. What is temporary is not what I want. What is permanent is what I want. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. This is Shuddha Buddhi. Shuddha Buddhi means this. Okay, this is Shuddha Buddhi. Then what? Then we have to see that, when I know that this is not what I want, the next thing to do is to drop what I don't want so that I can pursue what I want. Simple. This is called Vairagya, and the feminine form of it is Virakti. Same. Vairagya, masculine. Virakti, Vairagya, neuter, I think, yeah. And then Virakti, same thing in feminine. Viragaha, masculine. Same, same root. Raj. Raj to connect, viraj, disconnect, or not, to remain aloof. From what? From the various preoccupations that make my days miserable, that makes my life miserable, because I cannot gain what I want, and whatever I don't want, I get into two helpings, double helpings. So this is the next word here, viraktihi. So this viraktihi is important. Viraktihi, and then viraktaha describes the person. So the person who is Shuddha Buddhi, the person who gains Shuddha Buddhi becomes Viraktaha. Becomes Viraktaha means becomes free. Becomes free of what? Tuchha Buddhi. Tuchha Buddhi is again a very beautiful this thing. Tuchha means Nimna. Nimna means what is that? Low. I'm no longer interested in the low hanging fruit of the objects of desires. I'm no longer interested in that. Why should I be? Why should I bother? I'm not interested in any of these things at all. And because my sights are on gaining the truth of myself, for which I have become qualified through tapas and whatever it means, and all the disciplines, etc., through yajna, through dana, which together mean a life of karma yoga, a life that is dedicated to self growth rather than the fulfillment of the objects of desires. Because I have the viveka that these desires are very ephemeral, they come and go, and the objects are finite. And in fact, after gaining the objects, the desire morphs into the desire for something else. So I am not happy even after I have what I want. So therefore, what? These objects are not what I want. What I want is the subject, not the object. That subject which is I, which is equated in the Shastra to Bhagavan. That Bhagavan, that object of my devotion, that free person, that contented person is who I want. Myself as Bhagavan, myself as limitless. This understanding is called Viveka, and that comes as a result of the religious and spiritual disciplines of leading a disciplined life. And then that Viveka leads to Vairagya here in the second line. So this Viraktihi. And how does this Virakti come? By cultivating Tuchha Buddhi. Tuchha Buddhi simply means the sentence I have a sentence, a new mantra. It does not matter. Oh, that's the mantra? Yes. When do I say it? All the time. When somebody is angry at you, say, it does not matter. It does not matter. It does not matter. Oh, but it's important. It matters. Somebody, my reputation is on the line. It matters. It really does not matter. Why? Because look in the realm of politics. The general memory of the people is so short. The collective memory is so short. No, I know I haven't done anything wrong. Okay, then why are you scared? Somebody is thinking bad of me. Let them. You know you haven't. Your heart is clear. You have Shuddha Buddhi. Therefore, what? Have Tuchha Buddhi to people who are having all kinds of, all kinds of feelings about you or thoughts about you. It does not matter. And so, even if you're not able to say it does not matter, say what the Japanese Zen monk said in a similar situation. Is that so? Oh, is it like it is? And that's a very, very wonderful story. He lived in the hills somewhere, a Zen monk, and he had a young girl who used to come and clean his kutia, and he used to cook for him and give him some fruits and everything. And then the she gets pregnant, and everybody blames the mom. Everybody says, "Oh, it's this fellow." And then all the people in the village used to go to the mountain, and then they used to go to, he lived on a hill. They used to go there and then bow and then be so whatever. Then they came with sticks and stones and beat him to a pulp. You've spoiled this girl's life. And all he said is that so? That's all he said. When the baby was born and the villagers came again and just handed this crying infant to the monk and said, "You take care of it. Why should her life be spoiled? This way, at least we can marry her off." This is ancient Japan, okay, and not modern Japan. So we can marry her off to somebody else, and she can have a life. You take care of it. It's your baby. Why should you get away freely and have this, wear these robes and call yourself a monk and have this respectable life? This is your baby. Take care of it. And again, the monk said, "Is that so?" Then the monk found no bhiksha came, nothing came. He had to go down and then beg at people's houses. He could not beg at a single house in the village because all the doors were shut and stones would come out instead of food. So he had to walk to the next village and beg for some milk for the baby and something to sustain himself. Few months went like that. Then the villagers came again, shamefaced, carrying baskets of fruits, sweets, nuts, and everything. And then the girl was too scared to confess that she was in love with a lad in the next village because there was some feud between the families. And then they said, "Okay, please give the baby back. It is not yours. And please bless them. We are getting them married." And then again he said, "Is that so?" and blessed them. And this, when we see this story, we say, "Oh, how can I behave like this? That was a monk." Yes, it is how that is everyone's collective destiny in the Hindu dharma. In the Hindu dharma, the collective destiny of everyone is to grow to be a sannyasi. That is why it is the last ashrama. It is the last thing that you need. That is what it is. It is not like you say, "Oh, I can be whoever I want and I can just continue with my raga and dveshas." No, that is not how it is. It is your destiny to grow into an accommodative person, impervious and totally thick skinned to bouquets and brickbats, to use a cliche. Whether people are praising you or whether people are deriding you, you have such a strong understanding of who you are that you are unshaken by other people. Other people do not have an effect on you. And that is so freeing, because when the other people don't have an effect on you, you know what happens? You are free to enjoy them however they are. You no longer need to be helpless and powerless in relation to them. Neither do you need to make them and manipulate them into fulfilling your desire for validation. That's why you can be surrounded by people, all kinds of people, and you can just enjoy them. That is sainthood. Sainthood in the Hindu Dharma is not something given by some Vatican or some kind of a, church body or some authority where after death, you're getting 400 years after the death, you get a little piece of paper, so and so was a saint. No, that is the living truth of who you are. That saintliness is already you. That saint is who you already are. It has to be discovered, it has to be understood, it has to be lived. This is the phala of Vedanta Shastra, where you are not, you are even by the worst of situations and the worst of people, you are not affected. You are not affected at all because everything is an extension of you, you know. But how to get there? How to get there? Point number one, very nicely given, Shuddha Buddhi. Point number two, that is Viveka. Point number two, Vairagya here. Second one, have Tuchha Buddhi, opposite of, opposite of a cluttered Buddhi. Have a Buddhi that disregards, that is aloof to things in life. Let go. There is an expression, let go, let God. Here, let go, so that the window to the self opens. So the door to the self opens when you let go of clutching. The clutching is very, very, this is very, very, the unclutching is important. When one is born, when a baby is born, it is, you see, like it's like this. The fists are like this. But then when the person dies, it's all open. That should be the figurative journey in life. One comes to the world with a feeling of insecurity and the karma from previous lives, and then one grows with the help of this tapas, yajna, dana, etc. One grows to be a secure person, and that secure person becomes ready for this knowledge. And becoming ready for this knowledge is not a small thing. Already one is saintly. A saintly person is interested in this knowledge. Already one is a very, very dharmic person who comes to the knowledge and then learns to disregard notions, things, objects, and people. The clinging is disregarded. This is tuchha buddhi. Tuchha buddhi for what? Nripadehe padehe. See, in the ancient times, the biggest thing you could become was a king. Okay. So, Nripa is king. Nripadi means like kingly positions, top position. I want to be like whoever is the richest person now, this Indian man or whatever it is now. And these Adanis and all these, people, I want to be like that. I want to be like Bezos, the Amazon owner. I want to be like that. That is also this, that is also some kind of a adhipatya, power, dripatvam. Everybody wants power. And if you settle for the local power, that power which is yourself is denied to you because you have settled for something so small. And you're so worried about keeping on either pursuing it or having gained it, just keeping on hanging on to it. So that there, and that power of being a king is a power that is fraught with desire on one side and fear on the other side. The desire to keep it going is propelling you to just keep cutting corners and annexing other kingdoms, etc., becoming Hitler. And then the fear of losing it is again leading you to adharma. These desires are called patakas. They lead you to a life of derailment. Pataka means fall, derailment from this tapas, yajna, jnana, dana, etc. So instead of Atma Jnanam, you are just worshipping Atma Ajnanam. If you don't have tuchha buddhi, if you don't learn to be indifferent to power, pelf, position, bhoga, objects of enjoyment, consumption, addiction, objects of addiction, all these things, if you don't become averse to, you have to develop an aversion. Aparokshanubhuti says this. You have to develop aversion like a crow dropping. You're unsuspectingly going under a tree, And the crow suddenly decides to go where? On you, on your shoulder, just as you're going for a important appointment, interview, and you say, "Gee, what is this terrible?" And until you go home and until you wash this off or change your clothes, you don't feel good. You have an aversion to crow droppings. So make the desire for fame, name, as good as a crow dropping. Why? Because it's as good as excrement. It's as good as the remnant of of Brahman. Really, it is. It is not the. It is not the ultimate. It is not infinite. It is very, very finite. It's a waste product of the Jagat, in a way, is a waste, as though waste product of Bhagavan. Like that, you start seeing it. You have Vairagya. That is what it is. Waste product means you don't need to develop disgust, but you need to develop aversion or aloofness. That's what it is. Until you see it all as Bhagavan, then it doesn't matter. Then you are in love with the whole universe. But this is a practice. This is not the end stage. The practice is this, that the practice is that you school yourself to have, what is that, to have this dridata, to not swerve from the pursuit of the I, from qualifying to gain this knowledge, from the discipline, and from minimizing the ragadveshas, managing the ragadveshas, not letting them get to you, and being having some freedom with them in relation to them, and and developing an aversion to even the biggest thing that's offered on a platter. Some many people will come and offer you things, and in accepting those things, they, mind you, be sure that you're not getting to a life of enslavement to the aforementioned people. There is no such thing, somebody said in America, called a free lunch, and that is true. You don't get anything for nothing. You don't get something for nothing. There will be some hidden agenda. Oh, please come and be the chair of this committee. Ah, thank you. I would love that. And then what? And then you're stuck with so much work. You can't do anything at all. You're stuck with all the, keeping the accounts and everything, because nobody's doing anything. And then they all put this on you because they know you are a workaholic and you will do it. And they take vacations and then they make you work. No such thing called a free thing. Same thing, somebody says, come with me for a holiday. And then the person who invites you, whether they are known to you or not, acquainted to you, maybe you know them a little bit, they are what? They are just a they are just a high maintenance person. So the whole weekend, instead of enjoying yourself, becomes a exercise in taking care of them. They always need something. They need emotional reassurance. They are always wanting this, that, or the other. So, what happened to your free holiday? Not so free, is it now? And so, being able to see through everything and saying, I don't need this, I don't want this, because that you can only do when you have the trust that if the birds in the universe can make a nest without getting a PhD, so can I have a shelter over my head and the means to feed myself and my family without needing to all the time be in this flustered mode of what is that called? Insecurity. That is the trust. You do what you need to do. You get a job, you have a job, you keep the job, you bring home the paycheck, all that is needed. Yes, you pay the bills. But at the same time, I want more, I have to have this, and in order to be okay, I have to have that you let go. Then what happens? You get to the place that is described in the third line. Parityajya sarvam. You give up everything. You give up this, give up this, give up this, give up, give up, give up. Yad apnoti tattvam. So, yat parityajya sarvam yat, the one who gains what? Tattvam, the truth of the self. Here again, there is a cause effect connection. Only after the relative, the penchant for the relative has dropped, then only the absolute will reveal itself. The absolute reveal as yourself. Because see, this is a funny thing. You are the one who is the pursuer, and the object of pursuit is also you. What you, the you that is not an object, that happens to be the subject. That's why, not knowing this, people pursue the objects because people don't know how to pursue the subject. And if you were consigned to a life of sorrow, then there is no use of this pursuit, because no matter how much you try, you can't be happy. But you know you are happy. You know that's your destiny. Why just you? Even the pharmaceutical companies know that. That's why there are more and more antidepressants on the market, because even they know that depression is not the real you. Even they know. And so therefore what? So therefore I just pull back from the finite to allow the pursuit of the infinite in the form of Shastra, teaching, Guru, teacher, and this kind of an immersion. So other than this, what else? All the other things I give up. Parityajya sarvam. Giving up everything. Yad apnoti tattvam, the one who understands the truth. And what is the truth? That is described in this line, in the last line. Param Brahma, Nityam Param Brahma, Ahameva Asmi, Tadeva Aham Asmi. Tadeva Ahamasmi. The Dhridata, the certain knowledge. And what is this certain knowledge? The knowledge without doubt, vagueness, or error. I know that I am that which I seek to be. That which I want to be, I already am. And the word for that is Brahman. Brahman means from Brihi, Vriddhau, big. What kind of big? Limitlessly big. Limitlessly big. And that limitlessly big Brahman, limitlessly big I am. How come you are that? Because I am that sentience. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the sum total of the body, mind, sense complex. I'm much more than that. I am the sentience, that consciousness that pervades the body mind complex, and because of which the body moves, because of which the mind thinks. I am that. And that I is equated to the cause of the universe, which here is called Bhagavan or Brahman. Because that, see, the dissimilarity is obvious. How can I be Bhagavan? I cannot make the weather. I cannot make the Jagat. I cannot create the universe. I can only create some confusion. That's all I can do. How can I be Bhagavan? But this last one is a Mahavakya. And we'll be seeing this in a little more detail next time. Because it's the refrain. You see, the next verse also, when I scroll to the next verse, what is the refrain of the next verse? Param Brahma Nityam Tadevaham Asmi. Same thing. So we'll be spending some time on that to see. But for now, just for because I think some people have questions, so I want to save 5 minutes for questions. So I will just briefly touch upon this. So Param Brahma means I am that which transcends all name and form. Because, if I look at myself, I am limited. Limited, body wise, limited, mind wise, extremely limited, finances wise, definitely limited, bank account wise, definitely limited. And then what? Resources wise, limited, friends wise, limited, name wise, limited, fame wise, limited. And who am I being equated to? Unlimited, limitless Bhagavan. Limitless Bhagavan. Limitless, totally limitless Bhagavan, who is got limitless resources, limitless vairagya, limitless everything. And so this is that limitless Bhagavan. How can I be the same? So therefore, in the Shastra, we do first what is called Pratyagatma Siddhi. First you arrive at who the I is. The I is not this body, not the mind, much more than the body, much more than the mind. Body is I is not the body. Mind is I is not the mind. And senses, of course, are I, Atma. But Atma is not the senses. So the Atma, I, is what? That which is the quote unquote indweller of this body mind sense complex, and the observer that is not affected by anything that it observes, including sorrow and fear. This is arrival of into the true meaning of the word I, Pratyagatma Siddhi. Then this I is what? Consciousness, awareness. The awareness that is never becomes I don't know. This is an ontological I know, because when you say I am, you're already saying I know I am. And this I know I am is very interesting, because this I know I am never becomes I don't know. Because even when you say, I don't know Chinese language, that means what? I'm saying, I know I don't know Chinese. I'm the observer of my ignorance. I am the observer of the objects of knowledge. And that observer is never ignorant. I am the unignorant observer, which is this I, which is existent, which because I know I am, and I am, and I know I am. And this I am never comes to an end. I am now, 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 now. And the truth of now is free of time. I am that. This is how you unpack the I on the level of the jiva. And then the same thing you do to Bhagavan. If you visualize Mahavishnu, first thing you do is gently take away his chakra and you take away his shankha. Then you divest him of his crown and his wonderful yellow clothes or whatever he's wearing. And then you just sort of see what is inside. Inside is again that same Satchidananda, that same consciousness wearing a glamorous robe full of bling, full of power, the bling that represents power over the universe, the power to create, the power to sustain, the power to take back. And this is the Bhagavan. And then when you unpack the word Bhagavan, what do you get? Brahman as Satchidananda, Param Brahma. And that when you unpack the Jiva, what do you get? Same thing, Satchidanandam Brahma alone. So therefore, this Param Brahma Nityam Tadeva Aham Asmi. So we will stop here for now, and then we'll continue in the next session, which will be there at 4 o'clock. And some people have questions or whatever it is, so you can ask the questions. Now here you can ask the questions and see what is there. If there are any questions, I'll say the closing prayer. You can ask questions. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Somebody has raised the hand. So, is there a question?
Yes, thank you so much, Swamini ji. It was such an enthralling talk. I couldn't move away from my seat, and also it was really one moment when it really struck me very deeply was when you said our journey from the baby with clenched fists till the end, where our palms are wide open. That was really moving for me. So I would like to request the viewers to post your questions in the Q&A box, and as they come, I would relay them to Swamini ji.
Yeah, now there are no questions. Somebody raised the hand. I don't know why or whether it was an accident. So
The
that
hands
is
are
this thing.
still
Now,
raised.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote. One question is there. That's just a
That's
thank you. That's all
yeah.
it is. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Swamini ji, I had a question. May I ask?
Sure.
Um,
Please do.
So you spoke about aropa, the projection of the mind,
Yes.
and
Aropa. Yes.
aropa, exactly. So why is it that, how does the mind project? Why does that happen? And how do we go about becoming more observant about the projections?
Yeah. Very nice question. Aropa happens when the true nature of something is not known. And the snake rope is a stock rope snake is a stock example. This is to show that how the fears project onto a thing that is not fully known, and then sometimes the desire also becomes the cause of projection. Like then that positive example, pravritti example, is called is that shuktika rajatam, means the mother of pearl that is mistaken for silver on the beach. So on the beach you see something shining, you say, oh, this is a silver dollar, and oh, it's a silver piece of silver coin, and you run in the sand in the sun and try, and you're exhausted, and then when you come to there, it is a useless, not even costly mother of pearl. And so this is how when the nature of a thing is not known, the projections are abide, projections are rampant. So first I learned to I learned to manage the desires, the raga and the dvesha for things like the snake, raga for things like the silver. When they are managed, then the projections naturally withdraw, because the projections are the symptoms of unmanaged raga and dveshas. We cannot say we should remove the desires, because removing the desires means what happens? You just keep what is that mm, then you are left with a desire to remove all desires. Then what are you going to do with that desire? Then you have another desire to remove the desire of removing the desire. You are left with that. So you can't remove the desires, and the desires are not problematic really unless they become obsessions. So, therefore, you manage the desires so that they don't become obsessions. They don't sit in the driver's seat and then drive the car. You drive the car. They don't hijack you. They don't carjack you. And, and say, and then you cannot say, this is my karma, in order to be hijacked. No, it's not your karma to be hijacked. You have to say, let go of the wheel. This is my vehicle. This is my body. This is how I want to walk in life. I want to go towards the Shastra. I want to grow into a compassionate, being with a compassionate, open heart and a happy person. I want to grow into discovering myself as that. And I'm not going to let you come in the way. You have to be in the managing seat. And that requires a lot of viveka, vairagya, and the teaching itself makes one withdraw the projections and be more one with uh, one with the program. So the more the vedanta as a desire is cultivated, then the desire for other things, the desire for the finite naturally drops. It's like when you want to take candy from the hand of a baby, what do? You give it a teddy bear. The candy drops naturally, and the baby is holding on to the teddy bear. So make Vedanta your teddy bear, and then the desire for all these small things, this tuchha buddhi will definitely come, and the desires will naturally drop. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think this is the quintessence where we draw, where we are different in a way, because we don't say everything is destiny. We have a
Yes.
certain amount of self-pursuit and
Absolutely.
purushartha that
Absolutely.
comes into the picture.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And moksha, the desire for freedom, is not prarabdha. It's not destined. It is purushartha. That's why,
Absolutely.
when my guru was alive, everybody used to go to him with their horoscope and say, Swamiji, will I get moksha? Will I get moksha? And he would say, I can tell you the conditions for moksha. The
Right.
conditions for yes, you have a life that you can, if you made the will, if you made the decisions, if you decide to direct your life, the stars are helping you. You can do this. Conditions are there, but you have to pursue. It's like taking the horse to the water, but you cannot make it drink. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. We have some follow-up questions on that from the audience, Swamiji. So does that mean that there must be something upon which the projection happens? But understanding
Yes.
that there is nothing, so is it a projection on a projection?
No, there is something on which a projection happens. The projection is happening not on a non-existent thing. You can never have a projection. On zero, you cannot have a projection. You can only have a projection on an existing thing that is not, that is not known, that is not fully known. That is how it is. Partially known thing. So the I is not non-existent. The I is very much you are there. That's why you say but not a fully understood I, there are projections. I am an idiot. I am sorry. I am, I am not, I don't know this. I don't know that. I have this. I have that. So it's not a projection on a projection on a projection. It's a projection on something that you haven't fully understood. Therefore, the I becomes a sitting duck for thinking I am something I am not.
Right. I remember reading Swami Chinmayanandaji's words. He calls it misapprehension.
Yes, misapprehension. Very well put. Yeah, misapprehension.
Yes. One final question, Swaminiji. Can we say projections leads to desires?
Projections lead to desires? Yes, definitely. And it goes the other way around. Desire leads to projection. Projection leads to more desire. So you are in a sad sorry go round. I can't call it merry go round. A sorry go round loop. Yeah, each one buttresses the other. Here's one more question. Is there a way to know if we manage the desire, if we are managing the desire or suppressing the desires? Yes, wonderful question. Because if you are managing the desires, if you're suppressing the desires, you'll be angry, resentful, and unhappy. If you're managing the desires, you'll feel victorious and you'll feel good. Yeah, that's what it is. Because you are in the driver's seat. That's how it is.
And it comes with a lot of unbound freedom, like you just said.
Yes, you feel happy. You feel with yourself. All right.
Wonderful. I think that was a very, very good note to conclude the first session. I'm really looking forward to our evening session now, Swaminiji.
Absolutely. We'll do that. And then we will meet again here at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes? Yes. All the best. Om Tat Sat. Yeah, take care.